But I am back here with our next fireside chat. And I'm very much looking forward to our conversation with Dale Henderson, who's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at PLS, to talk about navigating ongoing market volatility and the outlook ahead for PLS. And more broadly, really it feels quite apt to have this conversation on this day and be talking about lithium, one of the rare earths, one of the rare minerals, on a day when the Prime Minister has been meeting with the President of the United States, and we're having this broader conversation. So if I could, Dale, just if you will indulge me to start on that meeting, is there going to be, do you think, any impact on PLS or on lithium as a result, although it's early days, but will there be impact based on that conversation and the deal that's going through?
Yes, no, thank you, Sarah. And look, firstly, thanks, IMARC, for having us back. As it relates to today and the announcement between Australia and US, which came out this morning, it is certainly a positive sign for critical minerals, and it's a positive sign for the relationship between US and Australia. And to me, it sort of just marks this moment in time for the world where critical minerals is front and centre for all countries, because it is so critical to the future everyone's trying to build, whether it's the shift in energy or the new products stepping forward. Well, that's all enabled through critical minerals. So as to the $8 billion plus deal today, yeah, as I say, very positive.
When you talk about critical minerals and lithium in particular, there's been enormous volatility, which can make things a little bit challenging when you're running a company where that's your bread and butter, so to speak. But in terms of how you at PLS navigate that, because you've done it very successfully. So before we go macro, how do you navigate those ups and downs and make it work?
Sure, probably the key to is our strategy for the business is all predicated on making sure we're successful in this environment. As you say, the lithium market has been incredibly volatile, and that has been the case not only for lithium but other of these other emerging mineral sets coming forward, serving this sort of global shift. So as to our strategy, it's really set up to protect us against the downside, so those troughs in the market, whilst also position us such that we can capitalise on the inevitable upswing. So what that looks like in practice for PLS is we have a best-in-class balance sheet amongst our peer set. We're 100% independent, so we can sort of control our destiny. And as it relates to our growth options, well, we haven't bet the farm. So we've done small bets and diversified bets so that as this industry starts to grow, well, we can grow carefully with that.
And you've also done collaborations. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the partnership that you have with POSCO in South Korea.
Sure, so we've got a series of JV partnerships with whom we think are the best in the business. That includes POSCO being the manufacturing powerhouse in South Korea, who are a very diversified business. We've got a study pathway with Ganfeng, arguably the world's largest and most proficient lithium chemical converter, and we've also got a JV with Calyx for the purpose of a midstream project. So we're partnered with a series of partners within industry. But as it relates to POSCO, what we've done together with POSCO is build and operate one of the first lithium hydroxide facilities outside of China. So we have a 43,000 tonne lithium hydroxide plant in Gwangyang, South Korea, which is operating today, and we're busy ramping that up. So we think this is an exciting part of our diversification strategy, and to be producing hydroxide in South Korea we think is pretty neat, given it's one of the very few battery hub ecosystems outside of China where there's the car making, the battery making, and now the chemical making care of our joint venture. So very exciting times.
So Dale, one of the things that's really been a hallmark of this conference is a talk about how everything is changing. New players are entering the marketplace. That's absolutely happening when it comes to lithium. You have had some opportunity to listen to some of the other speakers, I suspect, but even more broadly, when we see India and Thailand suddenly in the frame, Saudi Arabia, what is that? How does that affect the industry, and how does PLS navigate that?
Well, yeah, it's an incredible moment in the world's history. And so when you step back and you think about we haven't encountered a period like this probably since moving from organic fuels into carbon-based fuels, coal, so on and so forth. We're in a similar transition period where not only have you got this emergence of urgency, geopolitical urgency from various countries, including the ones you mentioned, but it's happening at the same time with a technical evolution as well, where we're seeing different types of forms of energy, whether that's solar or more support for nuclear, coupled with different types of technology use cases, whether that's swapping out existing product types from combustion cars to EVs, or new product types of the likes of new data centers needing energy storage. You've got EV tolls, which are the flying electric vehicles. All of this is happening at the same time. So it makes for a very turbulent landscape to navigate, but also a very exciting landscape to navigate, because it presents huge opportunities for the right companies to serve this massive growth market.
You definitely have to have your seatbelt on for the market right now, but it's also tricky because it's changing in terms of what we anticipate we're going to need lithium for, and then actually where the market goes and what drives it. And we started with ceramics, and now we're looking at storage. How do you, can you kind of lay out the landscape for lithium and where and how the market is being driven right now?
I wish I could lay out the landscape. It's a big unknown, because, as I say, those driving forces shaping the market are rampant, and it's all happening at the same time. So there's a geopolitical level, there's a technology level, different battery types, different use cases. As it relates to geopolitics, there's carrots and sticks, so tariffs and subsidies. There's a lot going on at the same time, and it's evolving rapidly. But it's also worth reflecting on how far it's come so quickly. And just by way of a sort of a quick look back, it was only the 1970s when the first commercial lithium battery emerged. Prior to that, lithium was used for medicines and ceramics. And fun fact, even 7-Up, the drink, used to have lithium in it back in the 1930s, which was removed around the 1950s. So not till the 1970s first battery, and really fast forward to as recent as 2018, half the world's lithium demand was still in batteries and ceramics. So over the last sort of 8 to 9 years, that picture has completely changed, where batteries now speak for 90+% of total demand. So it's been this rapid change, and so what we're seeing is this emergence of multiple new industries, new mines, resources serving this growth set, a whole giant manufacturing industry being built out globally, serving all those use cases. So it's all happening at the same time.
With the changes that are underway, you mentioned processing before, we talked a bit about that. But again, with the announcement that's coming out of the US, how much more do you anticipate Australia might be able to feature in that space?
Well, I think Australia is incredibly well placed. We've, as a resource jurisdiction, we're arguably second to none in terms of the strong history of serving the world with resources and I would add processing capability. And Australia, well, it's a lucky country. It's got this incredible endowment, but added to that, it's got this world-class knowledge in terms of extraction and processing. And of course, this conference, IMARC, is a wonderful representation of that strength. So I think Australia is incredibly well placed to capitalise on this opportunity. And it's wonderful to see the Prime Minister today paving a way in partnership with the US. But I'd note it's not only about working with the US. We've got many other partners, whether it's South Korea, Japan, Europe, all of the above presents an opportunity for Australian business.
So as you navigate the landscape going forward, what kind of partnership opportunities are you looking for? And more broadly, how does PLS navigate a volatile landscape? I mean, you've shown that the company has discipline, but what are the ways that you manage this in an ongoing fashion?
Sure, that's a big question. And probably the place to start is at a very high level, the way we think about serving our shareholders and growing the business it's really predicated on sort of diversification, because that makes good business sense. So diversifying geographically, but also diversifying through the supply chain. So that would be a key principle. Outside of that, it's really about making sure we can maximize value creation. So be a low-cost producer, a scale low-cost producer, but also find ways to be a participant further down the value stream through more processing. This is all to one aim, to maximize value creation. So those are the kind of the broad principles: diversification, value creation, all of course in service of our mission to enable the renewable energy transition. But to your question, well, what does that mean for partnerships? Well, we're looking for the best in the business, and we want to lock arms with strong partners whom we can work together to forge this path in this exciting industry. And the relationships I mentioned earlier, POSCO, Ganfeng, Calix, in addition to our long-term offtake partners, all speak to that philosophy.
You also had an auction some time ago, and that created a bit of drama or interest, really. Tell me about the auction. Why did you have that, and what was what happened?
Yeah, sure. So as a young industry growing rapidly, it's in many ways immature. And the lithium industry, in one of the areas it's immature is through price discovery and the ability to understand what is the prevailing market price. And off the back of that, the normal instruments that you might see in a more mature market are still evolving and still developing. So what we sought to do back in 21 is, in order to help with price discovery, well, and in the absence of any sort of spot platform, well, we had a crack ourselves. And we started the equivalent of eBay for our product. And we set up a platform, we invited bidders, and what ensued was a massive rally as a function of these auctions that we ran, which sort of caught the attention of the world. It precipitated a massive price rally through 22 and really helped supercharge a lithium rush, if you will. That, of course, precipitated, as night follows day, a downturn, and we are now moving through the back of that. And who knows where we head from here, but I suspect we might have deja vu.
Well, you know what interests me about this is it seems like in some ways PLS is the canary in the coal mine for what Australia is doing more broadly with this big deal. I mean, it's a critical mineral, and now there's this bigger project. As we attempt to do huge projects at a time when demand is skyrocketing for EVs and data centers and all the things that are going to kind of create a whole new world out there, what have you learned from running PLS that Australia and the government need to understand as we enter this brave new world of embracing this sector?
Yeah, I think PLS's experience has been one of some luck and a lot of hard work. And I think we're incredibly fortunate to have navigated from what was a very small, fragile company to now one of the leading players. On a produced tonnes basis, we're approximately fourth largest, and we have within line of sight the ability, depending how quickly we can build, to move to number one on a produced volumes basis. In terms of key lessons learned, and specifically lessons for the government, I think it's about investment in shared infrastructure is key. That makes us more cost competitive for all. And at the end of the day, we're part of a global competition. So the role government can play can be around shared infrastructure, lowering costs like power, shared port infrastructure. That's a key ladder. Another key rung on the ladder would be faster approvals. And outside of that, ensuring whatever incentives come to bear applied to the most competitive projects. Those would be the key lessons, I think, for the government to support Australian projects. And I note that other countries globally are very much focused on those things, so we need to match those efforts that we see globally. Outside of that, well, it's actually on Australian businesses to tackle this opportunity and make the most of it. Now, in that regard, the partnerships I mentioned, well, they've been central to our success, so I'd be encouraging other Australian companies to seek out the best in the business, find smart ways to commercially align and work together, because we are stronger together.
All right, well, that seems to bring us right back to the beginning as we speak on a day when there's been a bilateral announcement. Thanks very much for your insight and for sharing with us the path that has really put PLS in a kind of a position of best in class. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you all.